Another day on the game dev grind, which, what more could you ask for? You know, best hobby in the world. And if it could be a job, it'd be pretty damn good. But anyway, it's another day getting rid of these placeholders, putting in the new assets, just making the game more visually appealing. So my deadline that I've got for myself is tomorrow. So tomorrow I need to have all the placeholders out. Now the game will still need a bit of game feel, it will still need tweaking, and it will still need polishing, of course. But this deadline is to just get rid of all the placeholders, which is a lot, and come up with a final style for the game, which was getting rid of the vector graphics. And pleased to say we're just about there. I did the menu yesterday, which I didn't record just because I couldn't be asked and I was busy and well, I want to explain myself. Anyway, um, that's the state we're at. I am also toying with getting rid of the loot button system as it currently is and adding a kind of mini game, and I've been planning that yesterday and a wee bit today so far. So we'll see what that looks like. Because right now you press the loot button and you just get a random bit of loot, and there's static calculations based on the rarity, and then it's just totally random if you get an armor piece or a weapon. And I've got a few ideas of like little mini games that you could do that kind of make it a bit like Peglin, you know, where it's like it's an auto battler but you play Peggle. But I don't want it to be a hefty game because people could be they could loot twice and then go to battle, or they could loot 20 times and go to battle, and they need to find balance in that risk versus reward. So I don't want whatever the mini game is to be tedious or repetitive. It will be repetitive, it will be, let's be real, but as what I'm trying to say is the least tedious, boring mini game as possible that people don't mind doing over and over again. Um, because the whole point of the game is like this auto battling light RPG where you create builds, and it's basically a sandbox for you to customize, come up with builds, and it gives you that dopamine rush of getting a bit of loot like you would in an MMO or you would in Diablo, but it's right at your fingertips. Basically, that was where I started with this, and I'm trying not to lose sight. And that comes back to something I've been thinking about lately, which is game design documents. And this is something that I've spoken about in older videos I did in the past as design documents. And should you use them? And I've said numerous times, yes, you should use them. And I've had comments on the videos saying, no, you don't need to use them. And you're right, you don't need to use them. But, and what is a game design document? You know, you could have like a hefty Bible like AAA studios will use. Is that overkill for a solo dev? In my opinion, yes. But I think you should have, if you take game development serious. I mean, if you're doing this just as a wee outlet, you don't care about actually releasing anything or making anything of it, making a career out of it, then you know, it doesn't really matter. But I think if you want to actually build a machine where you can develop games, release them, and iterate on that, and try and make this into a career, I think you need to have some kind of documentation or agreement that does two things. One, that describes the scope, describes the features, and describes the core mechanic, basically as a way to avoid scope creep so that you can stick to those mechanics and get that out as fast as possible. And for the second aspect is to give yourself deadlines, because without having a deadline, either to yourself or to a community, without having a deadline, you'll feel like it's never ready. You'll feel like you can always keep, because if you're a game developer, the chances are you're a very detail oriented person. You love maybe don't love, but you've got an attention to detail, you love refining very specific parts of a project. So with that, which is a very good quality to have in my opinion, but we need to find a way to control it. And we can control it by having deadlines. And I've got in wee bits of paper my deadlines, and one of them being tomorrow. So if you can have a bit of paper, or digital bit of paper nowadays, that says this is the game I'm building, this is the audience I'm targeting, this is what I want them to feel when they play it, and these are the core mechanics and the features. And the second thing, these are my deadlines, and this is when this game is going to go out there for people to play it. Just those two things, that can be your game design document. Doesn't need to be heavily in detail or anything. It can be very simple, it could be one page. It could be a list of bullet points, but just something that gives you boundaries to work within. That's my thoughts. What do I know? Anyway, time to crack on, and we can see my progress and watch along a wee bit. Now that's another day then. Let's show you what's going on. So I didn't add a lot today, but I added these wee drop shadows into the game for the sprites, which is quite nice. So let's just, nice wee detail there. I'll need to add some torches or something around the walls, which will just make it look even better. And since I didn't get to show it off yesterday, here's the new menu. So I still need to obviously get a bit of background art, so I'll need to sort something out for that to get rid of this shitty blue colour. But here is the improved character selection screen. So I added this wee effect where when the character is selected, the wee character sprite is animated, and then we can see all the abilities here. On the left, the starting stats and whatnot. Some of the text just needs scaled up a wee bit, small and hard to read just now, but I'm quite happy with that. And for the last wee while, last thing I've done today is I have created these rune sprites. What this is going to be is part of the new looting minigame that I've designed. So I still need to actually develop that. I was going to develop that tonight, but I'm just running out of time. So that will be a wee bit of work to do tomorrow. These runes are going to be part of the new looting system, which I'll show you. I got Claude AI to mock this up for me based on the idea that I had. So we'll have these runes and they'll represent a specific part of the item. So every time you click loot now, instead of just getting a random bit of loot, you'll have these three runes. So one will be representing the slot, so is it chest armor, helmet, glove, weapon. The second will be the rarity, so is it common, uncommon, epic, rare, etc. And then the last one will be for the stat, so does it increase your strength, your intelligence, all that kind of stuff. And you'll press loot, and then it will cycle through them. This is bugged, but I mean you can sort of get the idea that I'm going for here. And then you would press stop, you press stop again, and then you would be trying to basically like line it up to get the item that you're after, to design the item that you're after basically and time it. And you press stop again, and then this version is bugged, man. I had a version that worked a minute ago. So this seems to be the one that works. And then you can see we've got the item that we've looted here. Maybe a wee bit hard to see. Let's go for it again. So you would have that, you would press and say I'm wanting to get I don't know, a sword. So I tried to get it, but I'm too slow. And I'm trying to get, I don't know, orange or purple. I bet I get the shit one. And then I'm trying to get the health, the bonus health. Oh, and I got it. And from that I get the common gloves of vitality. So obviously I would want something better than that, and then I would go again. And that's the whole idea behind this system. So I've got the runes. I just need to get to developing the system, which I'm going to make a restart on tomorrow. And tomorrow is going to be a short day for game development again, because I'm flying to Canada on Friday, and tomorrow's Thursday by the way, so I've got a lot of shit to do And sadly, game development has to take a wee back seat, which is always shit. And that's the score. I'll catch you tomorrow.